Look, here are two blinking dots, but are they alternating or blinking together? So they look like they're alternating, but what if I told you you were wrong? Would you be surprised? They are actually blinking together. If we take away the backgrounds to each circle, we can see that they are blinking together. So this video is all about time, what it is, why it seems to fly by, and sometimes why it seems to stand still. Now, time is most definitely not fixed at a constant rate. The faster you go, the slower time goes. It's called time dilation. Also, in the clock, the hours, minutes and seconds, they're all man-made. If we met up with an alien race, it is very unlikely that they will measure time like we do. So I asked Google to define time, and it said the indefinite continued process of existence and events in the past, present and future regarded as a whole. This means that time is an object or an event in the past, present and future. Time is our fourth dimension. It is a 3D object as it exists. So technically, a 3D object is a 4D object, and a 2D drawing is actually a 3D drawing. Just depends on whether we used our fourth dimension when describing an object, but we usually don't. Let's look at those blinking dots again. To make sense of these events, your brain warps time so it can take in all the detail it needs. Unfortunately, this gives you a false impression of the speed and order of the events. In neuroscience, there is an effect called the oddball effect, and it affects about 70% of people. This is when something strange happens, your brain devotes more neuron resources to it, and it feels like you saw it for longer. So let's play another game. We're going to look at who's good at judging time. What I'm going to do is have a counter that counts from 1 to 10. What I want you to do is close your eyes and count to 10 in your head, then we can compare, okay? Here we go. Did you get it first try? Congratulations if you did. Most people are like 1 or 2 seconds out, and if you were out, don't worry, it's not so bad after all. Your brain can warp and slow down time when something important happens. For example, when driving, the car in front of you brakes suddenly and you put your foot on the brake. I should note that it's not actually slowing down time, it just feels like it. There is something else that can affect time, or at least seem to. Have you ever had it where you look up at a clock and it doesn't seem to move, and then when you look back at your work you sort of realise and think that it might be broken? And when you look again, you realise that everything's fine. This is what happens when your eyes move quickly. So here's an experiment. Look in the mirror. Look at one eye. Doesn't matter which one, but if you're having trouble choosing, pick your left one. Now quickly move to the other eye. Did you see your eyes move? This is because when your eyes move quickly, your vision goes blurry. What your brain does in that little bit of lag between your eyes and the back of your brain is it cuts out the blurry bits and replaces them with the frame of the image that you are now looking at. This means that you actually look at a still image for a few nanoseconds. This means that when you look at that clock, that second actually lasts slightly longer than all the other seconds, but in reality, it lasts the same as every other second. The amount of information coming into your brain can actually change how it feels. If it comes in at a constant rate, everything will be fine. But if it gets overwhelmed, it can freeze by default. It's like an animation. If the difference between each frame is so small, in other words to get more detail, the overall animation will be really slow. This is the same as the brain, so as it slows down to take in more information, you actually live slower. Your brain has a speed limit. It's about 3 seconds where it can decide what to do with the new information. If there is too much or you don't have the motivation, your brain simply stops. But would it be fun to be able to change the speed of which you live your life? The only problem is, too fast and you miss out on detail. Go too slow and you'll have amazing detail, but you'll only ever experience half as much. Is it worth the trade-off? Your brain has already chosen a perfect speed in which to live life, and I think it's got the balance just right. That is why your brain is incredible.